Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. It's my favorite time, the year, the week. I do like fall a lot. I do like summer as well. But in terms of my favorite time of the week, I did get something really cool in the mail. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw me post a picture of this. Bright light, bright light. This, of course, is the new latest and greatest XPPen tablet. This is called the Artist Pro 16. So you guys know that I've done quite a few reviews on my channel for the XPPen people. It's because I do a lot of tutorial videos for them. I did stuff for a symposium, an art symposium over there in I believe in Stockholm. Recently, I did a tutorial for him, and I've done reviews for him on the channel. And then also this week is the Lightbox Expo for the next 6 days. I believe it started 2 days ago, maybe. And on Friday, I believe, is when the floodgates open for all of the videos and tutorials for the different manufacturers and vendors that are attached to the Lightbox Expo. And I believe I have maybe possibly three tutorials that I did for XPPen. So as a thanks, not only do I get free advertising for my channel, also, potential clients, also they give me a perk here and there. So in exchange for doing a video review, all the indications that I'll give in this review are going to be my own. I could rip at a new one, which is going to be hard to do because XPPen makes great stuff. They asked me to review this tablet. I didn't get a chance to review the other XPPen product with the 4K screen and the touch, but at the end of the day, I think this one is going to be great. I've watched some other videos on it, and it seems like it's one of those weird transitional products. So we'll talk a little bit about that as I show you guys what it is. So this is an HD tablet, 1920 by 1080, which again, in today's realm of tablets is not really that great. Even my even my 24 Pro has a 2K screen, so I really don't know why they're still making HD tablets and selling them in the market and marketing them as new tablets. Aspect ratio is 16:9, 8,192 levels of pressure sensitivity, 94% of NTSC, 99% of Adobe RGB, and 133% of sRGB. Those color gamuts are important for people who do color correction and need color corrected stuff as per the program and whenever you go to print. So that's important. You'll hear some of the other YouTubers throw those terminologies out and you're like, I don't even know what that means. I guess more is better, which it is in some respect. Also, it's got 60 degrees of tilt with a 5080 LPI lines per inch resolution. So that's good. It's a high definition tablet. The big deal on this tablet, and this is one of the reasons why I think they released it, because in and of itself is going to be not very big. I mean, it's a 16-inch tablet. The form factor, as you'll see here in a second as I unbox it, new stuff, is not that big of a deal. What makes this particular tablet a big deal is because XPPen has introduced a chip on the pen that is supposed to increase the pen sensitivity, the latency, form factor. Latency is supposed to be less. It's supposed to be wonderful in terms of the drawing experience. So that being said, I'm going to do a time-lapse unboxing because honestly, I hate unboxings. I could care less. Big deal. You unboxed it. What do you get, a gold star? And then we're going to get into setting it up and drawing on it. I'm going to tell you right now, based upon some of the other reviews, it doesn't come with a stand, which, you're thinking, okay, that doesn't really make a sense. I do have some extra stands here that I might have to utilize, but drawing on a flat surface like this is no bueno. I'm usually a 45 degreer, and I like having stuff in front of me, like an animation desk. But just from what I've seen, the drawing is going to be great, I hope. And overall, the tablets, you know, positive things. But we're going to talk a little bit about why they released this tablet. And this is something that I think a lot of people, whenever you buy a tablet, you're looking for a price-conscious purchase, something that'll last. But as a professional, I look at the bigger picture. I look at the entire, you know, production process from start to finish and why certain products are made. I understand why the 24-inch Pro was made. It's made to compete against the Cintiq 24 and the Huion. And I understand why it's 2K. 4K may have been a little bit out of their spectrum in terms of reach, price point wise, because they're, again, a budget company. They don't want to charge $2,000 for a tablet yet. And, you know, like your 16 Innovator and some of those other tablets, I think, are great form factor. You know, and of course, they're budget-minded tablets. They're just simple drawing tablets that don't have a screen on them. You know, whenever we start getting into the 22 second gen, the 24, I always ask, why would you make this product? And this is one of those products where I looked at it and go, why would you make this product? So let's get into the unboxing really quick. And then we're going to set it up, and I'm going to talk a little bit about why I think XPPen made this particular product. Enjoy. And now comes the unboxing. Yay! Hopefully I don't cut myself with my gigantic pocket knife. Unwrapping, I hate the sound of plastic crinkling, but I did like the overall feel of the packaging. It was thick, it was nice, printing was very clear, very clean inside. Again, unwrapping this, just, I hate that sound. Anyway, so the form factor is great. It's all made of metal. The front is plastic, and then you're unboxing the little peripheral items. All these plugs that I'll never ever use unless I go overseas. A nice glove, which I love, add it to my huge collection. And of course the cables. That cable is a disaster. It is a disaster. Horrible, horrible. So many cables. And then of course the pen, which is the star of the show. Okay, and here we are. So I went ahead and set it up on my traditional drawing desk. Even though the angle isn't quite what I want. I'm going to change that here in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and peel off the protective cover. I've already hooked it up to my all-in-one, my Surface Book up here. And you noticed that the scaling isn't correct. I know on the Surface Book, the scaling, it's not 16:9 aspect ratio, it's 3000 by 2000. So I've mirrored the displays, and I'm not quite sure how to fix that just yet. That's just an anomaly. And here is the pen. The pen is in a metal container, which is absolutely incredible. It's got this function where you push on the bottom, and it pops out of the bottom, and out comes your pen. This is a metal sleeve, so I don't recommend doing this over your tablet. You might drop it and scratch the screen. But, man, XPPen has really stepped up their game when it comes to their pen enclosure. You know, back in the old days, they would just throw the pen in the bag, and then they went to that cigar tube, which was very nice. It was very well done, albeit the sticker application was always off just a little bit. But this one is very reminiscent of the Wacom or Wacom tablet pens that you received. This one has a rubberized interior. The fit and finish on this is exactly what you would expect from a top tier company, much less somebody like XPPen. Nothing against XPPen, but they're not, you know, in terms of price point and quality, measure up to Wacom. But with this particular device, I'm going to say it's right up there with Wacom. So obviously you take the pen out. It's got a nice weight to it. Let's go ahead and put this back. There's something so satisfying about packaging to me that just works, right? You know, and then you throw this in the somewhere, and then you'll never see it again. But I highly doubt that's going to happen. So let's go ahead and put that right there. So here's the star of the show. Inside of this pen is a ARM chip that is supposed to get rid of a lot of the latency issues and a lot of the parallax issues that plagued XPPen early on. Now, granted, XPPen has done wonders with the drivers, but there's always that little bit of I don't know, it's hard to describe inaccuracy when it comes to their pens, constantly having to recalibrate and do a lot of the things that are aggravating as a professional artist. So, just going in, what's funny is it's completely off. Um, yeah, look, see, all I did was plug it in. I haven't adjusted anything. I haven't calibrated it. I haven't done anything, and it's super off. I mean, it's literally, and I think that probably has to do with the issue I'm having with this machine up here. It's just, I don't know if maybe the display. Okay, so I've installed the driver. I've adjusted the proportion now. I have 1080p on my Surface device, and I have it mirrored, and then I've changed the scaling ratio to 100%. So basically, I've adjusted everything to look correct on the XPPen device. And you see I've got it now tilted up. I've got this little critter right here. And actually, I need to do two of them, because what inadvertently happens is if I put pressure on the upper corner, it'll cause it to tilt a little bit. Now, I looked on the back and I didn't see any type of screen mounting system. They do sell a stand on XPPen website. I haven't investigated that just yet. But this channel again isn't about peripherals. It isn't about any of that. It is about drawing. So I also had to calibrate, and if you look, it's off again. So let's go ahead and calibrate it again. I wanted to show you how to do that. So you launch, if you're on a Windows machine, which is what I am, this is Windows 10. I do have Windows 11 on another machine, but I didn't want to utilize that because I don't think a lot of people have adopted that yet. So let's go ahead and click on that little icon down here, bring up the XPPen driver interface, the new user interface. And this is not the latest and greatest. I'm going to have to update. This is 3.2.0. I believe they've updated the driver, so I'll do that after I show you guys how to do the display settings. So right now we're not too bright, so let's go ahead and hit the display so we can brighten this up somewhat. And then the contrast is what you really want to watch, because right now we're at kind of a tan bluish red area. Okay. So now let's go down. That looks pretty good. And then whenever you launch this, you saw that I had some calibration issues. Looked like the cursor was off to the side. This is important to note because every computer and every system is going to be different. Don't get frustrated, right? XPPen's really good, and also Wacom and Huion, all the companies are really good at helping you out. But XPPen basically includes that calibration tool right here in the interface. You see that I've got a couple devices hooked up to it currently. I've got my AC19 XPPen remote, and this is a great device. It's about $45 US. You get it on Amazon or the XPPen website, and I've got things pre-programmed in as per my different programs. So let's go ahead and go forward, and it shows the 16. What's great about this new driver is I think it's kind of all-encompassing. It takes care of a lot of products at once, and you see again, I can add any type of application that I want, and I can customize not only my quick keys but also my my scroll wheel here. So that being said, let's go ahead and go back to the pen settings. We're going to go to calibration, and whenever I hit calibration, it brings up these little crosshairs. Now, what you don't want to do is you don't want to go straight down like this. If this is the angle to which I'm going to be drawing at, which it is, you need to do it as natural as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it in, and I'm going to click on the center crosshairs. I'm going to do it here, here, and here. It's important, and finally the center, and then hit OK. And what that does, it says configuration saved successfully. So it basically saves that configuration. Now, if at any point in time that you decide you want to go ahead and transfer over to a different machine, you want to carry those settings with you, what you do is you click on this little, looks like a mechanical wheel, and then you can actually export your configuration as per the settings in this particular interface, that's attached to this driver. And then whenever you update your driver, you can import that config, and it's like you didn't miss a beat. Because I know how frustrating it is to go ahead and have to reconfigure everything whenever you update a driver, especially whenever you have to uninstall the driver, which is what you have to do on a PC for XPPen. You have to uninstall it, the old one, then you have to install the new one. And they do that so you have a clean install and you don't have different permissions that are all around causing issues. So what I can do is identify, and I can make this number 1, and I can make the other one number 2 if I like, if I'm extending. But right now I'm just mirroring, so it makes things pretty easy. Okay, so let's go ahead and launch Photoshop. Okay, so here we are in the mode of kind of giving you an example of what the tablet can do. Obviously, it's very similar to the other tablets, right? You have your pen, you have your display, which is connected to an all-in-one, and in this case, it's going to be my Surface device, like I had explained before. But one of the things that I think that gets missed and overlooked whenever you start using one of these tablets is the fact that, you know, a lot of times you'll hook them up, and as you saw before, you hook them up and you don't, and the screen resolution on the device, because it's landscape, doesn't match your all-in-one. So there's a couple things you have to go through if you want to be able to utilize this device effectively. Obviously, you want to match the resolution of the device with possibly the format of the host device. So I had to go in and I had to change a couple things to match, to make sure that everything was, you know, communicating back and forth. And ultimately, it really didn't have anything to do with the tablet itself, and that's important to decipher. Is, you know, it's one of those things where it's technology, right? It's a device. So that being said, the pen. Ultimately, this is the reason why this device is out right now. You know, I'm a really big proponent of understanding why companies do certain things. And, you know, XPPen is no different than any other company. You know, you ask, why does Apple have a MacBook? Why does Apple have an iPad? You know, why do they do all these things? And ultimately, it has to do with the understanding that they want to make money. And this pen technology in here is supposed to convert analog signal to digital signal, and it's supposed to really alleviate a lot of the latency, and the pressure curve is supposed to be much better than a lot of the other pens. And I'll be honest with you, it's really good. So you can see I'm just literally going to put the pen on the screen and just barely push. And let's go ahead and zoom in here really quick. And this is full black. I've got pressure at opacity 100 with pressure on, and I've got my taper on as well, and I'm barely pushing. And it is absolutely incredible. You see that blinking right there? That has to do with Windows. That doesn't have to do with the pen or the display. I need you to, you know, be clear on that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a little bit more. And look, just I'm barely. It's like I'm setting the pen on the screen, and then I'm using my thumb to just give it a little bit of pressure, and it is really good. So obviously that's going to be good whenever I put full pressure on. But even, you know, and you can adjust different pressure curves in your programming. And also, if you look, so I'm going to come in and I'm going to go distance from the screen, which by the way is bonded. The screen is bonded, which means you'll have the glass that's bonded to the LCD. So you're not going to have that distance, you know, on Wacom, Wacom and even some of the other earlier XPPen products, that distance between here and here. So you have the digitizer, which is somewhere in here, that activates the pen. So the distance here, if you look, I'm going to go, so like, let me give you an example. I'm trying to give you a good example here. I'm trying to find a piece of paper. Okay, here we go. So I'll give you an example here. So if you look, this is the very top of the screen. The digitizer activates right here. So you look, the distance is probably 1/2 inch.
it activates right here. So that's pretty good. Okay, so let's put that up. The reason why that's important, again, is because you want that activation to happen pretty early and not have to have your pen so close, because I think on other devices, you know, if you have pen or palm rejection or anything like that, touch. And I think as they develop, as they progress through the development process of this particular product, that palm rejection is going to make sense, because, you know, even though this one does not have touch, I'm sure they're developing it to have touch. Okay, so let's go back. We're in Photoshop today. We're just going to do some simple faces. No. Okay. Don't show again. Yes. Okay, so we're going to add a layer, and we're going to go to full screen. Now, any blinking you see, and this has happened pretty much on all the PCs. Again, it has to do with Windows and Photoshop. Now, it doesn't happen whenever I go to full screen, so I think we should do that, unless I want to show you a specific tool in Photoshop. But, so let's go ahead, let's turn this back on. Let's go here, let's go to tilt. This supports, I believe, 60 degrees of tilt, if I read that correctly on my box here, pin tilt. Now, even though it shows a little icon here, you notice whenever I actually go, it disappears, because it has to actually read the activation of the tilt. So we're going to keep that on. I do like tilt. Okay. I did watch the little technology blurb they had on this, and also I watched one of the videos they had on the pen technology inside. It's very similar to a cell phone chip, so you have all of the components on one chip inside, and I think this is probably going to be the technology moving forward, not only for XPPen, but I'm sure some of the other bigger companies, like your Wacom, are going to adopt it as well. Over 8,000 levels of pressure sensitivity, so you can see even whenever I go really big. Now, this again, if I make it really big, that limiting factor is going to be the CPU. Even though this does have a really powerful CPU in it, it's an i7 with 16 gigs of RAM. It's a Surface Book, and it does have a video card. So all of these components, you have your video card, you have your display hooked up. If you have multiple displays, then you have your CPU, then you have your GPU. And all of those communicating back and forth with each other whenever you start to use Photoshop, which is a RAM-hungry application. If your brush gets too big, you are going to have lag. You see that? It's pretty bad, but you cannot blame the computer. You can't blame the display, because, again, it all depends on your hardware. So let's go ahead and get started just doing a simple, what am I going to do here? Let's do a simple, we're going to do some faces today. So let's make it decent size. And you can see, going in, it just has really good pressure. So if you get in here and it's too heavy, what you can do is launch their app right here, and you go to the pen settings and make sure that you have Artist Pro 16 selected. You know what's interesting? Let's go back. Okay, no, we're good. Okay, so I haven't set up anything with regards to shortcut keys or pen settings yet. So I'm going to go ahead and add. This is what you do. You add, hit that little plus button, and you search down for the application that you're currently using or one you want to add. In this case, I'll be adding the Photoshop. So then I can go in and I can start manipulating. I've got a fly in here. My apologies for that. I live on a farm, so we're dealing with some of that right now. So it does come with an eraser, which is a really great feature for XPPen. I know in the past, some of the other pens, especially one on both my 22 second gen and my 24 Pro, they don't have erasers. But what's nice is they do have that pre-program right here, that second button for the pen eraser, which is nice, so I can go in and just erase stuff. So I'll go ahead and select Photoshop that I added, and I'm going to pull back a little bit on that pressure. It's by default set in the middle, that average. Some people like it heavier, some people like it lighter. I like mine a little bit harder. And make sure you hit that OK button right there, and that saves the configuration in the dialog. Not the dialog, but the algorithm that is attached to the driver. So let's go back. Very nice. This is probably one of the best pressure curves I have ever experienced on a pen. And you compare it, you say, well, the Apple Pencil's better, the Apple Pencil's better. Even the lines you see are just so nice. And I'm comparing this with, your Wacom, I'm comparing it with your Huion, I'm comparing it with other XPPen products, and I'm comparing it with the iPad Pro latest gen. And what I like about the iPad Pro is the lack of latency, the lack of parallax, and the distance between the cursor and the pen is really minimal. But the pressure curve is really good on the Apple Pencil too, but it's not perfect. This is almost, I dare to say, perfect. It's very hard. Here we go. So I messed up here. Okay. There we go. What I've noticed with this XPPen remote, it does have different settings. So if you hit that center button, a lot of times it'll scroll through. Like if you watch, I'll hit the center button, rotate, zoom, which is nice to have. So I typically keep it on brush size, but it doesn't mess up. It kind of switches different modes. So okay, so let's get to drawing. Enough of my yapping. Okay, so let's go ahead and start out. You see that blinking? Hope everybody is having a fantastic week. I noticed something on my videos. I was recently contacted by a company to do a review of a product, and then they went on my YouTube channel, which I don't understand why they didn't go on my YouTube channel first, and the number of views per video were kind of low, which they are. And even though I've got over 10,000 subscribers, my viewership in terms of each video watched is low. It's, in the hundreds. We're talking 300, 400, 500 people watch the video, even though I've got about 10,000 subscribers. And I'm not really quite sure how to fix that. I've gone in and I've watched the videos to see how you improve, your viewership and whatnot, and how that is done, and I still haven't figured out the algorithm for the YouTube algorithm. And I know it takes time to do it, and it's not a complaint, it's just an observation and a challenge that I've had with this channel, and being able to create really good content for you guys, but not having the amount of viewership that I really would like to have. And again, it doesn't have to do with money, it has to do with getting the word out, getting things done, and obviously money is a perk to be able to run the channel. Typically I make about, with all the videos that I post in the month, it might be 4 or 5, maybe 6. I make about $130 to $140 a month, which covers basically very minimal of the cost to make the video. And for those of you who do watch on a regular basis, thank you guys so much. Man, it makes a huge difference. But that being said, I'm still trying to grow the channel, and it's just taken a long time. You look at some of those other people that have millions of views, but they've been doing it for like 10, 15 years. I've been doing this since 2014, so yeah, I'm at 7. I've been doing this for 7 years, and I got almost 500 videos. So it has been a challenge, making videos and doing things. Let's make that lip come out just a little bit. He's kind of mad. He's like, huh. Definitely, I'm learning all the time. Learning all the time, trying to make better videos, trying to make sure that I cover the content that you guys are interested in watching. And, these reviews definitely help. The pen is a little light, to be honest with you. I don't necessarily want a heavy pen, but on the other hand, I don't want one so light it feels cheap. And it kind of feels cheap, to be honest with you. I would like a little bit nicer pen, especially since it's, the flagship for this technology. Also, I like to have a little bit of rubber on the end, just so I kind of feel and grip. And whenever you have a pen like this that is so slick, it can slip out of your hands really quickly. But my biggest complaint, and this is the biggest thing that I have, the biggest complaint about the pen, the drawing is wonderful. It's fantastic. Let's be real with it for a second. It is a great pen. The technology is there. They put this technology in some of the other pens at the higher price points. Then they'll definitely be a force to be reckoned with. But my biggest complaint about this pen is the barrel. You notice how big the barrel is, and that to me is no bueno. The barrel tapers, but it doesn't taper to an end. And I'm holding the Renassier Raphael 520, which in my opinion is one of the best styluses ever made. It's a metal barrel, and it doesn't have an eraser because I don't know, they just didn't want to put one on. But it's rechargeable. But what makes this pen really good is the taper of the barrel. And if you look, you can see this is kind of like a bull in a china shop. It's really big and bulbous, and it comes to that abrupt cutoff to where then you have the nib. This is really tapered back, and it has more of a pencil feel. And this is such a comfort to draw on. And what's really nice is it's not completely round near the end, so I always kind of have a neutral point where I can find where that the rocker button is. Whereas this one, it's completely round all the way, and sometimes I grab it and I don't know where that button is without having to go up and feel it. Now, it does, if you look, it's interesting because then it tapers back nicely and then it flattens here, probably whenever you have it on a disc, they don't want it to roll. But I just wish they would have had that rubber a little bit, and also customizability. I would love, what's great about the Wacom pens is you can put, or at least the old ones, you can put a little bit of, put that colored ring on here. So if you have multiple pins, you can definitely, find out. And also it's, this is the pin for my Wacom tablet. This is the pin for my so and so. This is the pin because I have a lot of pins, and it's nice if I can just look and see from a distance. Yeah, this is the red one. This is the green one. This is the blue one. Now I had recommended, I believe, in a previous video and in an email to XPPen to possibly create artist series pins, which I thought were really cool. You could have an artist series, which would have a sleeve that you could put on, or you could have printed graphics from a specific artist, and you could sell these at price points that are beneficial not only for the company, but also for the artist that does the artwork for them. So that's a possibility. Okay, as I talk, shut your mouth. Okay, so the more and more that I draw with this pen, because I've had this device a few days, and I never ever want to go in completely blind. I've done that a couple times, and I've had kind of a harsh reaction. Let's have that lip come up right here. Because I didn't work out all the bugs and the kinks before I went in and did the review. It's important that I don't do that anymore, because I want to have at least a working knowledge of the device before I go in and give it a true review. So that's what I did with this one. So let's go ahead and have the wrinkles here. Sorry about this. The fly's aggravating me. It's like a little gnat. Okay. Shade that in just slightly. Sorry if you hear my computer fan. Gosh, these older computers, with these Intel processors and the graphics cards and stuff, especially the all-in ones. Their fans, man, they're so loud. Okay, let's do this. Let's make sure we get his hair. Also, what was I going to show you? Okay, really quick. Let's go here. Nope, we're not doing that. Okay, so we're going to go back to the work area, and then we're going to go to screen, pen display, display settings. You can adjust the brightness. You can adjust the warmness, color temperature. So right now, let's go a little bit lower contrast. You go here, it's going to gloss things out. Color adjustment 5, 65, 75, 9300. User. That's pretty good. Okay. See, I'm noticing with this pen, usually I would have it choked up on the barrel much more, but I'm a little bit further back, and I'm giving a little bit more distance. Again, because if I go too, it's like if I go too far in, I can't see what I'm drawing. And then even though it does have tilt, I feel like the more that I pull it down, it's going to end up rubbing on that edge right there because it's out so far. It's not tapered like I would like it. It's just a little design, a little user design. I wouldn't call it so much a flaw as as just a little anomaly. Let's go full screen. And you can see just it's wonderful. The drawing experience is it's so close to natural. You know, it's hard to describe. I am using my favorite brush, my favorite drawing brush, Mike's favorite drawing brush. Let's go ahead in. Okay, it's kind of a fur collar here. Let's go ahead and make that a little bit bigger and turn the taper off. Rotate. Taper back on. Okay. Back. And I never want to be, again, one of those YouTubers that basically, oh, you know, a couple lines, couple here, couple there. It's important that you guys know that you know, I want to review the product to the point where I understand not only its flaws, but also its pluses and minuses. And so far, this XPPen 16 Pro with the new technology, the pen is definitely the star of the show. But I come back to that statement I made early on. It's like, who is this for? It doesn't come with a stand, so that's kind of a bummer. And then, in terms of the cables that hook it up, you know, it doesn't. It's got a USB-C going in, but going out, it goes to a HDMI. It doesn't have the the USB-C, which is, in my opinion, for a new product, you need to definitely have USB-C. I mean, even the 22 Artist series, the 22, you know, both the 22 and the 24 both have USB-C going out, so it plugs directly in. You don't have to have that extra HDMI cable with the regular USB cable, which, you know, is kind of a bummer because I went to go hook it up to another computer and I had to have a dongle, and then the dongle wasn't interfacing correctly, so that was no good. Okay. This isn't a tutorial today, so I'm going through and just trying to show you, the prompts and the things that, this particular machine does well. So then if I want to erase, sorry, I just hit that back button and I can increase or decrease. So we're going to put some shading in really quick. Okay. So let's go back. We'll click this. And if I want to change my brush, I click that front, which is basically right click, and I can change my brush if I like. Okay. And you can pre-program and you can change the program settings for the pen in that dialog box, the XPPen dialog box for the driver. So let's go ahead and turn taper off. Let's increase. Okay, I need to turn its pen pressure. Oops. Tilt. Okay. Make that bigger. And look at that. It's like you can go really nice and dark and then really almost to nothing. See, that right there is it's hard to do. And the guys over at XPPen have definitely done a good job with that. A little bit of shading in that eye. Right here. Under here. I definitely enjoy drawing on this tablet. And at this price point, it is, I mean, it's hard to say that, this is quote unquote a bad purchase. It's got that new pen tech. If you're a budget minded person, I think this one's 400, I believe. 400 maybe? Okay. Maybe he's a little bit more gaunt than we're giving him credit for. There we go. Let's make that light shine right there. Whoops. Going around, got that cast shadow right there. Comes around here like this. And all this is in shadow. Shadow! Yeah, you hear my computer sounds like it's going to take off. Shh. Okay, let's switch to white. Okay. Yeah, you're barking at me. Okay, whatever. Not bad. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, so let's add a layer. Now we're going to, again, taper. Let's go to black. All right, so let's do a female. Starting out with that okay. The hair comes down like this. Let's go ahead and move up a little bit. Whoops. It's on the selection tool. Doesn't want to move. There it goes. It's the PC, dude. I mean, it's like it's got weird little things that happen occasionally. Okay, so sorry about that. Okay, so as you see, I've started out with basic shapes here. Then moving on to the hair. So then we're going to go and do the eyeballs. Let's do that nose. Let's go have the eyebrow up. And the eyebrow. Regular. Okay. this. Here. Let that eye come up. Alright. Here around. Lips. Distance. Lips come up. We're going to have a little bit right there. Okay. Have the ears. Here, ears. Right now, again, we're at the blocking stage, so I'm not concerned with, you know, too much of the issues that I'm having with the anatomy. Let's go and do the whole pupil. Oh, sorry, iris. We'll go down here. Do that pupil. Here, make sure we got that. Since it's more of the eye showing. Nope. Okay. Blocked in. And this. We'll have that little shadow right there. Good. Okay. Of course, the all-important eyebrows. This one goes across like this. Okay. Shake down a little bit. Now, get the eyelashes. Come around. Have that come around here. Whoops. Okay. Kind of tuck behind her ears. And a little bit further over. I think those pupils are a little bit too big. Looks like she's been taking something. A little bit smaller. Come around. Okay. Here. Eyelash come around. As you see, as I'm progressing through, I'm making small corrections here and there because obviously this is not really turning out the way that I want it. And again, you know, I go back to the whole pin thing. Right now, I'm holding it too tight because I don't have that gripping that I would like to have. Now, I do typically put some type of a grip sleeve on here, and this is one of the other pins that I have for my Surface devices. But this needs the grip. I wonder if they sell that on their site, if they sell like a gripping sleeve or something, because that would definitely be nice. Okay, let's go ahead and come down. Okay, have that shoulder come up. And you have her neck right there. Her hair. Okay, have some earrings too. Oop, kind of messed that up, didn't I? Okay, let's erase that a little bit. This needs to come down a little bit further. Darker here and darker there. Darker and darker. Here, up. Okay, Let's swap that to white. Put a little bit of eye shine in here. A little bit of eye shine typically will help. Switch that back. Now we'll come up to the hair. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to that's a little bit high. So let's go right here. So I like to measure distance-wise because the eyes are the center. So you're going to want to measure here, here. So here's the top of her head. So I had it just a little bit high. Excuse me. Man, I've got a bug in my face. Well, let's maybe have a little going down right there. And from here, have that hair come down. Here, here's her shoulder, comes around. That's her shirt. And again, this eye, I think, let's go ahead and make this. Let's turn that taper off, see what we can get here. Shade that in just a little bit. Here. Shade that in. Okay. Do a little bit of the shading there. The pupil's not the same size, that's why I'm getting some weirdness. And I have done zero correction on this, so here. You're watching it as it happens, people, in all of its messed up glory. Okay. Let's do these. Hoops. She's got some hoops. Okay, so typically women have a little bit right there, a little bit right there. Let's go ahead and turn the taper back off. Let's get a little bit of shading in here. You can see just how good that pencil is, or the pen, stylus, whatever. It's just really good. It's got a great feel to it, other than those things we've talked about. Let's go ahead and do this. All right. A little bit here. A little bit there. It's coloring that hair, or shading the hair, excuse me. Frame her face a little bit better. So nice. Yeah, I mean, who is this device for? Is it for the professional? You know, it didn't come with a stand. It didn't, you know, all the wires and stuff. It's not very portable. Um, you know, it's, I don't know. I mean, I think it's a good device for exactly what I'm doing right now. Drawing at my desk. You know, that price. Give her a little beauty mark, maybe? Right here? Yeah. The price conscious person that is interested in kind of getting into the digital illustration game, I think this was a great product to do that, because you get that really good drawing tech and you don't have to break the bank to do it. You don't have to go out and spend $1,000, right? Their 4K model that they have is really nice. I haven't tested that one yet, but I mean, honestly, HD is fine for me. Would I like to have better? Yeah, but most of the time, you know, I'm gonna, you know, with this particular computer, the computer would probably have a hard time running that 4K screen, much less be able to draw on it. You know, as the resolutions get better, then you're going to start running into issues with these older machines. Let's do a couple of strands of hair that come down. She kind of looks like Emma Stone. I didn't mean to do that. Of course, Emma Stone's a beautiful lady. Whoops. Yep. Turn that taper off. A little bit darker here. Okay, we're going to have a little bit of the shading right here. Yeah, these are fun. Save. Don't show again. Save on my computer. Okay, we're going to desktop. We'll just do untitled because ultimately I don't have the time to fart around with that. Okay, so then what I'll typically do is I'll come back and I'll just start doing little bits here and there. Maybe we'll do this. A little bit of reflected light in there. Right there. Okay. Save. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you guys on time lapse. As I put some rudimentary color in, I need to load some brushes because I haven't loaded all my brushes yet. So let me do that and I'll do some color for you guys. I'll block in some color with some paint and then we'll come up and do a final wrap up and get my thoughts on the XPPen 16 Pro model with this new technology, chip technology inside. So let's get to it. And I just put some basic color in as you guys watched the time lapse. You know, putting the color in was fun using this particular product. The thing is with that really light sensitivity, I was able to go in. You can go in and get some incredible nuances. So let's give you an example. So let's say I want a little bit of red. Let's go ahead and put some red in. Okay, where are we at? Oh, we're in the Dodge. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so as you see, I can get just a really slight nuance because of that wonderful pressure curve that's built into the pen. It's just, I'm barely, if I want to go full, there's full hardness. And now, it's just, I'm barely touching the screen. And it's just so wonderful, guys. It's hard to convey how good that is. Just the lead in. The lead in is really, lead in meaning that lead in pressure curve going in there is just really good. And putting in a little detail here. This is really rough. I mean, this wasn't supposed to be a sit down and render something till it's, you know, perfect. This is just, again, a really rough sketch of two faces to kind of give you an idea of what the machine is capable of. A little bit. Let's go ahead. Yeah, just some of those different colors and color hues that are inside of these eyes and stuff. Let's get some reflected light. Let's go all the way up. We're going to get a little bit of blue right around there. And we're on top of everything now, so we can put in some fun reflected light here. Yeah, right there. Maybe some on that side too. Turn that taper on. Just get a little bit of his eyebrows here, coming around here. A little bit on the edge. And if I want to change the opacity, I can go back and just pull that back here and there. So, that being said, so it's important to ask yourself, what is the purpose of this particular device? You know, XPPen has a lot of devices on their website, and from the mild to the wild, and it goes from your maybe your hobbyist user to your professional. And I've experienced quite a few products from XPPen, and this product, for me, it checks a lot of the boxes in terms of the drawing experience. That is the most important thing you need to take away from this review. The drawing experience is incredible. You know, with that new X3 chip in there, I think that they've really hit a home run. And there's no doubt in my mind that this technology, as it develops, as it moves forward, will just get better and better and better. You know, I also like to kind of think in my brain what exactly they're going to utilize this technology moving forward for, in terms of the tablet design, the form factor, and all of that. You know, it's great that you have these quick keys on the side, and I think they're fantastic. I think it's, you know, great that you do have these, but here's the caveat to that. I don't use them. As a professional, I've developed quick keys for the keyboard over my entire life, and whenever I want to utilize something like quick keys, I might have this little device that I've used for probably the past 3 years. So real estate wise, I would probably eliminate the quick keys. And, you know, I know that the great thing, not great, I know the thing in today's design language is to make everything really thin. You know, I think that the user appreciates that, but whenever it comes to possibly adding a peripheral, maybe a USB-C or a USB or something along those lines. You know, they have a headphone jack. I'm not really sure I'm going to use headphones with this. This does have speakers, but for some reason my computer won't. It doesn't recognize the speakers as an output for this device, so that's kind of interesting. Um, Actually, I don't think it has speakers. I think what I was hearing possibly was through my computer, the activation. Now there is a volume controller, which again is interesting. I'm not, you know, there's some just the weird things happening. You know, I'd like to be able to take a USB-C and plug it in directly to a computer so I could just have one line, maybe into a Thunderbolt port. Um, you know, I tried that and I couldn't quite find the correct sizing for this particular USB-C. This looks like it's proprietary and it's a little bit smaller. So finding the correct size and sticking it in there, and it's recessed, which I thought was interesting. You know, the power button's on the side. What you need to take away from this is, I think this device is a transition device. You know, just like in automobiles, you have transitional automobiles that has technology in it that is kind of like a test. They test technology out in the masses to, you know, help find the bugs. You know, they have a limited amount of time, so you have R&D, then you have production, and then you have, you know, getting it out to the public. And that entire, you know, block of time costs money. And a lot of times they'll develop a product and they'll get it out in the marketplace and it completely fails. And they need to recoup some of that cost if that technology doesn't necessarily work out. I think this technology is stupendous. It's magnificent, wonderful. But not having a 4K screen on here really hurt it. Also, not having peripherals on here hurt it. And then if you look, you can see, I don't know if you can see, if I can tilt this just a little bit. You see all of these wires. All of this stuff is connected to the device. And me as a a person that utilizes this stuff a lot, there's just a lot of wires. I mean, you have the power, you have it looks like a USB-C plug-in into the side of this, and then you have a HDMI cable coming out from that, and there's just a lot of things going on that I thought, in terms of being able to attach it to an all-in-one. That's kind of where we're going, right? That phone technology that's getting into stuff. Now, this obviously isn't a phone, but like, the Mac Mini and some of the Macintoshes using those ARM chips, that's kind of the direction we're going, and everybody's using USB-C. I will continue to try and find a proper cable to be able to just plug this right into the side of my Lenovo, and that's what I tried to do, and it didn't work. So, drawing experience, wonderful. Price point, I think. Hold on just a second here. Let's go product. Let's go Pro 16. Let's go buy now. And they do have sales and coupons and stuff. Currently, it is $382. It's brand new, 16th anniversary deal. They've been around for 16 years. It is normally priced at $449. This one is $382.49, and I don't know what the shipping is on that. 15% off. Again, it's a great device. That being said, I think again it's a great product. At that price point, it's not bad, but as a professional, I wouldn't probably even consider this device. First of all, it's small. Second of all, it's only 1080p, and it is a challenge. It is a challenge in this day and age to create a device that clicks all the boxes. That's not $1,000. So if you're going to school and you need something inexpensive, it'll check your box. It'll do everything you need it to do. One of the things that I didn't like, and this is kind of one of the things that I think that as XPPen progresses and they get better and better and they update their drivers, whenever you go to the edge, it doesn't line up perfectly. So it's like, here's the tip. You'll get the cursor that is just to the left or to the right. And, that happens at the edges. Yeah. So I don't know if it's specific, maybe it's user error. Maybe it's how I calibrated it. I really don't know. But whenever you're in the center, it's right on the money. But whenever you go to the edge, it literally, as you drag it down, going to the edge, like here's the edge and you're dragging it down, the cursor will slightly go to the right. It's like it does this, like that, and then you go back and it comes back. So that in and of itself is aggravating because my 24 doesn't do that, my 22 doesn't do that, but this one does. And again, it could be the driver, it could be the tablet, it could be the pen, it could be the user error, it could also be the fact that I'm using an all-in-one that has a different resolution than the 1080p here natively. So that graphics card might be an issue. I don't know. Either way, it was kind of aggravating. It didn't cause me too many issues, but overall, I think that, I do recommend it. It is a cool device. So, that being said, excuse me, one of the things that I always try and say at the end of my videos is, go out and draw something, have some fun, like and subscribe if you like what you see, and share. One of the things I said earlier in the channel about the people that watch the videos, the views aren't that much. It's 150, 200. I do have a couple videos that reach the 100,000 mark. So definitely, if you like what you see, please share and like, so we can grow the channel. I want to grow the channel. I want to do more stuff like this. Also, I'll be posting some tutorials on a store soon about Photoshop, and I just posted one, I think, yesterday or 2 days ago about learning Photoshop and illustration in general and character design. We're going to get into all of that. And I know that sometimes I say that and nothing happens for weeks and weeks, but that's part of being a professional illustrator and artist. it is one of those deals where I have to kind of balance things. So again, please like and subscribe, like what you see, and definitely, if you think this is up your alley for 300 and change, it is a pretty device. It's nice form factor, and I do recommend it. And the biggest thing has to do with this, the drawing. The pen is the star of the show. If this was 4K, if you had eliminated those and had some peripherals, and you didn't have all this garbage, all these cables coming out of it, my gosh, it's like an octopus. Then man, this would probably be. I mean, imagine if this was like 24 inches. If this is the form factor they're going to have for the next 24-inch tablet, 24 inches, 4K, peripherals, some speakers, and one single cable coming out of it. My gosh, you charge $1,000, $1,200, $1,500, and I'll buy it. So, because if they did that, and then with the pen technology, there are times that I was drawing that I thought, I feel like I'm drawing with a pencil, and that doesn't happen, especially in digital world. With all the quick keys and all the wires and all the screens and stuff like that. There's so many things going on in the digital world that a lot of times it's like sterile. But drawing with this pen, I actually felt at times like I was drawing on a piece of paper, and that means a lot. So anyway, I'll be quiet now. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks.